he became a runner. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, it was the year 1960. The first meet of the year was at the foothills of the mountain hill named Sandia Crest. All eyes were on the reigning champion, Lloyd. At the crack of the gun, as expected, Lloyd led the race. After a few minutes, the runners disappeared one by one behind that low hill at the far end of that race course. A minute passed. 2, 3. Then a lone figure appeared. So that has to be Lloyd. When someone from the back screamed, "Unbelievable! That's Baker!" Leaving a field of startled sprinters far behind, Baker won the race. What actually happened at the far end of that race course? His friend came forward, hugged him and asked, "How did you manage, Baker?" He said, "You know what? Halfway, running behind all, I asked myself a question. Am I doing my best? Only one thing mattered. Catch and pass the first runner and then go after the next. I don't know what really happened after that." I did not stop there. By the end of the year, he has set 6 state records and became one of the finest runners of the state. After graduation, he went and joined Alphen Primary School as a coach. He also started training rigorously for his Olympics. At his school, there were no champions. All he wanted was best effort from each of the students. This fairness, along with the sincere concern for the kids' welfare, has triggered a very positive response from the kids. And in no time, the word spread, we have a coach who really cares. It was July 1969. He realized that he has been retiring very soon, very faster, very unlike Baker. Little later he consulted a doctor. And doctor established what was feared the worst. Baker has cancer. And he was given 6 more months to live. Baker now faced the grim reality of his world. No more Olympics. No more running. After a few days, he left home, the same place, the same old Sandia Crest. The evening when he returned, there was a marked change in his spirit. That radiant smile was back again on his face. And he spoke about his future plans. His sister asked him, "What happened?" He said, "You know what? Up there in the mountain peak, I was about to run the vehicle down the cliff. Then all of a sudden, I saw the children at my school standing in front of me. All throughout my life, I asked them to do their best. What sort of legacy will my suicide leave behind for them?" Meanwhile, letters in praise of Baker started coming to school for awakening the clumsy kids, for giving them self-respect, for giving the timid kids all the supports and encouragement what they wanted. During a routine visit to doctor, the test confirmed that cancer has spread all throughout his body. Doctor advised pain-killing injections. And he said no. "I want to be with my children all the day. I want to be remembered for standing tall, not for lying helpless." After a few more days, he was hospitalized. His mother sat next to him. He held his mother's hand and he said, "I'm sorry, Mom, for being such a troublesome child." And he closed his eyes for one last time. That was the end of John Baker's story. My dear friend, if you think that story has ended, the story has just started. The kids at the Aspen school started calling the name John Baker School. The change of name spread like wildfire. People started demanding the naming the school to John Baker School. School officials referred this matter to the education board. Water referendum was called for. 1,520 families in Aspen voted for the question whether to name the school or not, rename the school or not. And there were 1,520 votes in favor of renaming. Not even one vote against it. Today, John Baker Elementary School stands as a visible monument to a courageous young man for his grit and determination. John Baker's story has influenced my attitude, habit, and thought process. He didn't choose his response. He chose his response, but he didn't choose to have a cancer. John Baker's School today stands as a monument for his courage. John Baker chose San Diego